Hello and welcome to Chaos AI. What exactly is this? This pretty much means that every nation is going to try to be at war at all time. Yes, so the nation's AI have been tweaked a little bit, so they pretty much declare war no matter what. And so a lot of the times, some of these bigger nations are a threat because a whole bunch of tiny nations go to war with them. So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be the 867 start date. If you want to see me do this with other mods and other start dates, let me know. This is going to be fun and cool. It's pretty much makes the AI crazy. So if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into it. I said it a little bit, but I think big nations are going to struggle because with the normal AI, a lot of small nations don't go to war because there's a lot of big people next to them. With this, it kind of turns that off where the small AI is like, you know what, I want to go to war. So we might find a lot of these small nations go to war with huge nations and a whole bunch of them. So a lot of chunks might be taken out of these big nations. It's going to be interesting to see what really happens. It's going to be a lot of border gore. So if you like border gore, get ready. This is definitely going to be your video. We are only like 14 years in, like barely anything. And we have this weird kingdom that's a peasant rebellion that's supposed to be like East Francia. I don't know what they're doing here, but it's kind of cool to see. We probably should see a lot of this because a lot of these nations are going to be unstable for going to war. So we should see like rebellions win all over the place. So it's going to be messy. It's going to be cool. This is an example of what there is to see. Also, we have Holland here already too. Like there's going to be a lot of independent nations. We're almost 50 years in, and oh man, is it messy. The thing that's crazy is that people conquer independent happens so often. Like Italy has changed sides like 4 times. They were owned by West Francia, then Bavaria, then Lithuania, and then they're independent again. And same with Iberia. They've just been going back and forth. It is crazy how much these borders are changing, but it's also cool because we're seeing nations that usually don't expand. Like Estonia is looking really good. Hungary's actually expanding. They almost never expand. So a lot of nations that usually don't declare wars are declaring their wars, like Egypt as well. So we might actually see some nations we usually don't see pretty powerful because people are willing to take the risks to declare war. I'm not going to say that this is going to say it, but in places where we usually don't watch, like over here in this part of Asia and also over in Africa, there's nations that are starting to thrive that usually don't do anything. Usually it stays pretty separate here, but you can see that a lot of these nations are getting pretty big. Same with Egypt, same with a couple nations out here in India and Asia. So I really think that this is making a lot of nations that like usually stay peaceful go to war, and I really like it. I don't know if Paradox has done something to make these nations usually passive, but they're going to war, and a lot of these nations are becoming pretty successful. So it's going to be interesting to see if we get major powers in areas that almost never have major powers, like Africa, Middle East, and Asia, and India. So we're going to have to keep it out because right now Europe is being messy, which does make sense, but I assume eventually it will be more consolidated because we're not even that far in, and there's also some pretty big nations already. So I won't be surprised if we get more condensed than we usually do. I was predicting we were going to have crazy border war, but it looks like we're having the exact opposite. We're having some of the best borders we ever had. Mongolia over here, Crusader looking great, Byzantines, Abbasid, Egypt, Ghana. Like, these are some of the most solid nations I've ever seen in like the before the 1000. So like, this is pretty cool to see. Mongolia's, this is actually crazy. I hope this nation keeps going well. They formed an empire. I've never seen anyone literally in Asia, this entire Asian region, form an empire in a single game. And Mongolia actually was formed. And this isn't the Mongol Empire. This is just like Mongolia, the empire. So it's insane. This is really cool to see. This might be interesting to do in like the later start date or like even in some different game mode, different mods and stuff like that. Well, Egypt has fallen, which is sad. I thought they were doing good, but we have someone else that's been here. Sweden is now here, and they're looking good. Almost everything looks like it's about to blow up. I don't know if it will. Khazari is still here, which is insane. Usually they die pretty fast. But now we're going to have a Sweden, which could form Scandinavia, which is cool. What I kind of noticed is that when nations start to get powerful, they just go on a rampage, because since they're so strong, they just keep on declaring wars like crazy. I'm starting to regret me saying that the borders weren't bad, because they are starting to get a little disgusting. It's a lot more normal, but still we have some empires that are pretty big that we usually don't see. This Arabian Iberian, I'm so sorry. Abbasid, Byzantines, we usually see them do good, but they're doing good. Khazaria's still kicking it, and I don't know how. They're doing great. And Mongolia made this video pretty cool. I love Mongolia. Thank you, Mongolia. You're just gonna get murdered by the horde when they come, so hopefully you die before that, or else you're gonna feel some pain. 2 more big nations have died. The Abbasid blew up, and so did Khazaria. So really, we're only left with the Byzantines and Mongolia, and I gotta say, I'm not happy that the Byzantines are still here, and I'm not too confident about Mongolia, like, surviving till the end. So hopefully someone else can get some power back. Otherwise, the Byzantines might go for a world conquest, and we saw that in the last video, so we really don't need to see that again. Please, Byzantines, don't do it. I've noticed whenever the Byzantines are doing really good, Denmark is like, yo, how about me? They want to make the video about them. So Denmark's looking good. They like East Francia, all of Denmark, and pretty much most of Norway. So they're looking pretty good. They're pretty powerful. The Byzantines are looking insanely good, and that's because everyone that was surrounding them is not here anymore, so they pretty much have free reign to like kill everyone that's around them because there's no powerful people. Mongolia, yeah, they're doing Mongol stuff, you know. Yeah, nothing too impressive. I guess Denmark just likes to take the spotlight, and then once I give it to them, they're like, JK, we're gone, and just peace out of the video. Yeah, they've done that a couple times now. Jerusalem's looking pretty good, and that's the only nation that's looking good. Don't worry, the Byzantines won't win the entire game. East Francia pulled out the Uno reverse card and decided to take over Sweden when Denmark took over them. So I don't know what East Francia is doing, but they're deciding that it's their time to take Scandinavia. They're sick of Denmark taking over them. When I make these videos, I usually like go do something else, like between recording things, like the gameplay. I have no idea where this nation really came from. I know they were like in Iberia, but like they just all of a sudden took like all of France, like, and there was multiple nations. It wasn't just West Francia. They took out like 4 or 5 nations here. So they just like expanded so fast. They're gonna be a problem. They're really powerful. They're definitely going to cause a lot of problems. They could maybe stand up to the Byzantines, and that's if the Byzantines survive, because the Mongols are here, and I think the Mongols are gonna take out the Byzantines, or at least take some land away from them, because they're sharing borders, and if the Mongols do this, the Byzantines might fail here. The Byzantines actually really collapsed now. They are in shambles. A whole bunch of people popped up, but it's cool because we have a powerful Georgia, and I'm hoping they actually do something pretty cool. They won't. They're gonna blow up probably as well. But really, I think the Byzantines might not make it till the end. They're really starting to struggle, and we really don't have anyone else that's too big right now. The Mongols faded away. The French are doing good actually, but they're not really French. They're just in the French lands. So same with, but East Francia, they're a Saxon, so they're supposed to be here. But still, these borders are really messy. I don't know, it was really good in the beginning, but then I had to say something, and then it's disgusting again. We're 50 years out, and I have to say there's only a couple nations that really can do it. It's going to be the Ottoman, the Byzantines, the Volga Ural, or maybe this Indian nation. Those look like the winners here. I think the Byzantines might blow up actually. They've been looking pretty bad. They've been starting to fracture a little bit. So it's really going to be between, I think, the French and these Russians, even though they're not Russian or French, neither of them are, but you know, the territories. I think one of them can definitely win it. Really, the bigger your borders are in this chaos AI, the worse you are, because everyone around you will declare war on you. Like the Byzantines borders right now are awful for them, because they're at like 5-6 wars right now because everyone's declaring war on them. Usually in a normal game, no one really declares war on you, but they sense weakness. So if one person declares war, then another person. So pretty much it's an onslaught. Whenever one person declares war on you, you get like 10 people to declare war on you, and you pretty much fall because of that. Like the Byzantines are just losing power because they're pretty much been in constant war for the last 20 years, and they might actually lose everything because of it. We are at the end date, and it's pretty ugly. The Byzantines are actually doing pretty good. No, they're not. That was a joke. The Byzantines are kind of crumbling, which is great. I think in a couple more years, they'd probably be extinct at this point because their borders are pretty much manageable. They're unmanageable. Yeah, they're cut off everywhere, so they're going to lose all this land. The Mongol Empire is still here, which is so cool. This is actually the Mongol horde, and somehow they're still here. This usually doesn't happen, which is quite interesting and cool. We also got Volga that's doing really good, and also these French, Islamic French people that are doing really good. But India's looking good. Same with multiple Indian nations. I might actually, at the end of this video, leave it running a little bit more and do one more segment. It is pretty cool to see what's going on. Religion-wise, though, yeah, Orthodox is kind of almost ruling the world. It's doing pretty good. It's actually destroyed all the Islamic faith here, which is quite interesting. That usually doesn't happen. They've literally destroyed all the Islamic faith in the Middle East, and it's just kind of in Europe and in Africa, which is quite interesting. Culture-wise, Greek is everywhere. Over here, these people aren't even French. They're Islamic, like Iberians, so it's kind of hard to see, but it's still a really cool game. I really like this kind of chaos AI. If you want to see me do this with a mod or different like game or the other start date 1066, let me know down in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe. A lot of you guys aren't subscribed, so make sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in a future video. See you later. Bye.